And under the regular order, the chair would request any further amendments. Mr. Boyer.
Mr. Chairman, I have Boyer Amendment number 1. I refer to it as the export amendment.
Mr. Chairman, reserving a point of order.
Gentleman from Indiana offers an amendment which he characterized as the export amendment. And without objection, that amendment will be considered as read. Gentleman from Colorado is reserved a point of order. And the gentleman from Indiana is recognized to speak on behalf of his amendment.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I refer this to as the export amendment, but it's a clarifying amendment. So as we went through the academics of your bill here over the last several months, this one is a new amendment, was not considered last year. The bill includes a significant inconsistency, I believe, with regard to the treatment of tobacco exports, and I offer an amendment to clear up that inconsistency. The purpose of this amendment is to clarify that raw leaf produced in this country or product manufactured in this country for distribution abroad can be exported to the standards specified by the country of distribution. For example, the European Union requires all cigarettes for sale in the EU countries to conform to the 10-1-10 product standard, which means 10 milligrams of tar, 1 milligram of nicotine, 10 milligrams of carbon monoxide. The EU also conforms to the Cooperation Center for Scientific Research relative to tobacco pesticide standards for tobacco leaf production. However, under this bill, U.S. farmers and businesses are essentially forbidden from producing leaf or products that could be legally sold in the European Union or elsewhere. We must ensure that products manufactured strictly for export do not have to comply with the tobacco standards expressly written for tobacco products sold within the United States. Manufacturers must be able to design their export products to the specifications of the countries to which they are exporting. We place great demands upon importers to produce products with regard to our country's standards, and in turn we must give foreign nations jurisdiction over tobacco products for which they import from the United States. That is essentially the purpose of the clarifying amendment. I yield to the gentleman.
As I understand the basic bill, Section 103(1) exempts products manufactured, maybe this is the current law, exempts products manufactured for export from the product standards and labeling and warning provisions. And this would apply for standards for tobacco products for export, that it applies to food and drugs, and already exempts those products made for export that meet the importing country's standards. So I don't see what the purpose is of your amendment, but what I fear could happen with this is that language is so broadly written it would also exempt manufacturers of products made for export from being required to provide FDA with the basic information FDA would need to determine the nature and extent of products being made in the U.S. that do not meet U.S. standards. And it would make it harder for U.S. authorities to track whether and how much of these non-conforming products intended for export are secretly and illegally being diverted back into the U.S. market. So I don't understand the purpose of the amendment. If it's for export, they don't have to...
Wait a second. What we're trying to do here is we want to be in the import-export business. So to my colleague of Indiana, it's got so much tobacco, you want to be able to get that tobacco into the European Union and do so in a manner that establishes or sets to their specifications or requirements. So if it's a product that's not going to be sold here in the United States, it's a product that should meet that country of origin standards.
That's
so
right.
I recognize that what you have here in the bill, I just want to make sure that in your bill that no other provisions or articles within your bill have an impact with regard to a tobacco grower in Mr. Hill's district gets punished. That's the purpose.
What the gentleman would further yield.
Yes.
The Section 103(1) of the bill says a product that's manufactured for export it exempts the product if it's manufactured for export. Your amendment says that the Secretary shall see whether it's complying with the laws and regulations of the country of destination instead of the laws and regulations otherwise applicable, which would mean U.S. laws. So it seems to me we've covered it already. And I worry about repeating it in your way for fear that it might have other consequences. But it seems to me we accomplished what you say you want to accomplish.
Well, maybe this is a moment where you want to take a tougher approach than I do. I guess I'm saying if you're going to create it under your bill, it's going to be FDA, then the FDA's got the jurisdiction, and they can put their nose into whether or not that product complies or not. If you're going to, who's going to make that determination with regard to it's exempt or not? Who makes that determination under your bill?
Well, if the law says a product's exempt from FDA approval or jurisdiction, if it's meant for export, then that's the law. And that's what I understand our bill to say. But you go add on another part, which I'm not sure is required under the law, and that's that the Secretary is going to decide whether the laws of the country of destination are complied with. And I don't know, do we let them decide? We wouldn't want... it just seems hard for us to have to see whether something complies with another country's laws and regulations.
All right,
it's just
I'll
exempt.
tell you what I'll do. This is another one. This goes back to I wish you and I would have had this meeting last week. So I'll withdraw this amendment and let's add it to the fire safe cigarette ones and we'll work through this one. Okay.
All right.
So I withdraw the amendment.
Okay. Thank you.